All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Happy Hour with HR, a podcast about navigating corporate spaces without compromising your wellness. I'm your host, DrMoe, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to actually have a staff meeting. Now, the reason why this topic even came to my mind is because maybe about a month or two ago, like maybe about 6 weeks ago, I had a team meeting for the company that I work for. As you all know, I work at a restaurant. And so I had a team meeting, or they called a team meeting. And they called this team meeting at 7 a.m. With the promise of like breakfast, you know, making it seem as if like this is a thing that we need to have because it's an important thing to have. I'll have to say that I understand the importance of team meetings. I really do. But this was a type of team meeting that could have been an email, because a lot of things that they were saying were things that they would say to us during the shifts that we work. And so if you just called us, some people were even working that day, some people were working later on that day. So if you called us in just to tell us something that you already tell us during our work shifts, then that could have just been an email. But I'm in this space in my life where I try not to criticize too much and get into they should be doing this type of mentality when I work for a company, because what I've noticed with different companies is that they all got some type of craziness, they all got some type of bullshit that is rumbling in that environment. And it does not make sense for me to get myself worked up when the reason why I am there is for a check. Okay? A check. Okay? Long past days are me saying, well, I want to grow with the company and I want to blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care about growing with the company no more, because these companies don't give a fuck about me. Why should I give a fuck about them? And to whose, okay? So when I'm at this meeting, again, I'm trying to approach it with like a clear mind. I'm trying to approach it with the mindset of let's listen to what needs to be said and done, and just really hopeful about, the purpose of the meeting. Again, the meeting did not do much, but it made me raise this internal question of how do you really have a team meeting? And what I know about team meetings is that team meetings are important to have to provide team members with important company updates. And it's not just about providing the updates, because again, that can be an email in itself. It's about providing updates in a way that allows team leaders and leadership overall to get real-time feedback about what these updates could mean for certain job roles or certain departments. So it's really an opportunity for companies, departments, whatever. It's really an opportunity for them to say, hey, what's going on in our home, in our work home? What's going on, and what do we need to be aware of personally? What do we need to be aware of professionally that will allow us to make the best decisions for our own wellness, for our own safety? Okay, so that, to me, that is the purpose of what team meetings are supposed to do. But I think from the past team meetings that I've seen, meetings have this idea that when you do a meeting, you're being productive. And so I feel like when people have team meetings, they feel as if they're being productive, when in all honesty, you're not really being productive, because the meeting is not doing anything and you just pulled people away from doing their job to talk about not doing anything. Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay. So how can we make team meetings more productive? And so these are 3 ways that I feel that you can make team meetings more productive. There's probably more ways, obviously, but these are just like 3 different techniques that I feel one can use to have a more productive team meeting. The first thing that you need to do is do a pre-meeting assessment with the different job roles, or if it's a lot of job roles, just the departments. When I say do a pre-meeting assessment, talk to them. Ask them what's going on in your department. What issues are y'all having that is really impacting productivity in your overall workflow? And I feel like each job role will have at least one thing, maybe 2 or 3, but at least one thing that they can say is like, this thing is really messing it up for how I'm able to get from point A to point B to point C in a certain amount of time. And so that pre-meeting assessment, what it does is it not only helps to better understand the needs of the team better, but it also puts leadership in a better light, because now they are being proactive to active listening. They're not just going in there and saying like, this is what's going on my end, y'all need to get with the program. Any questions? Okay, no questions, even though they see like 10 hands raised. Okay, no questions, all right, the meeting adjourned. Instead of it coming off as that, it's actually coming off as like, yeah, I want to know what's going on, because as a team leader, I'm not doing your work, so I don't know what type of experience you're having with getting from point A to point B to point C in a certain amount of time. So hit me with the tea. What's going on? Like, what can we do? Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you could do, or a second thing that you can do, is when you're having these team meetings, leave something of value for the team members. And when I say that, I mean, when you have that meeting, clearly state what the meeting is about. And like really sit with it and ask yourself, is this going to be of value to the team members that are going to be attending? And point out, you can even put in a PowerPoint, or you could just verbally say it, but point out to say, this is why this meeting is valuable for your work. I mean, I know it sounds kind of like, why do we have to do that? Because as team leadership, I am talking, therefore I am the value, therefore anything I say is valuable. I know sometimes team leadership can have that type of aura about them, but you have to understand that when everyone is in their little nook and doing their work, they thinking about their work. At most, they're probably thinking about their department, but they're not thinking about other people's departments. Like, development or fundraising is not necessarily thinking about finance and their day-to-day struggles. So you have to, as team leadership, and again, that's why that assessment is important. You have to think about, or you have to clearly state, this is why this is of value. This is how it's going to impact each department. Okay? Because not clearly stating the value can really leave people confused as to why they are there. So again, give them something of value, but also clearly state what the purpose of the meeting is, so that they can better understand the value of it. A third thing you can do is, now I'm saying this mainly for the man in the group, because what I've noticed with working with men in general is that, like, y'all be too off the cuff sometimes. Okay, you listen to what I'm saying. Y'all be getting too comfortable at work, and y'all don't need to be doing all that. Okay, y'all don't need to be doing all that, and not at all, not at all, not at all, not at all. Okay, y'all hear what I'm saying? And what I'm clearly trying to say is this: shut your motherfucking mouth. Okay. because men have been, I don't know if it's the audacity of it all. I don't know if it's just kind of like they're uncomfortable. I don't know if it's anxiety, but they have the tendency, okay, to say inappropriate things and do inappropriate things. And I'm saying this is the third tip. When you having a team meeting and you are team leadership or whatever, okay, don't say anything that's going to have you report it to HR. It seems like common sense, but when you see how men work, you're like, bruh, that's an HR violation. Since I've been at this job, I've seen multiple HR violations by men, usually from a sexual standpoint. And they're like, it's kind of like they be having a Beavis and Butthead moment. Like they'll say a sexual joke or something that's clearly inappropriate, and they be like, I'm like, and I just so happen to walk past or whatever, and I'm like, exactly, what the fuck? Because, you are a walking HR violation, and I don't know, it's just, I'll just say this. Don't say anything that's going to report you to HR. Because, and I really want to highlight that because I think that people be forgetting that when they come to work, they are there to work. They're not necessarily there to make friends. If you happen to make a friend in the process from being at work, great, good for you. If you happen to make a friend that is so good to you that they become family, great, double good for you. But the initial point of you being at that job is to work. So your coworkers are not necessarily your family. So stop treating and talking to them like family, because you don't know what triggers, you don't know what traumas they are bringing into the workplace. That little comment that you just said just triggered them. And now you're getting reported to HR because you thought something was funny when, baby boo, it was not funny. So I'm just saying this. Men, but women too, because women can do it too. Anybody in leadership position, don't say anything that's going to have you report to HR. Just going to leave it at that. And then a bonus little tip overall is to just be a team leader that listens. At that restaurant team meeting, a question was posed, and it seemed like I posed a question, and it seemed as if team leadership just kind of jumped down my throat and was like, basically like, nah, we ain't about to do that. I'm like, okay. I can't force you to do anything, but what that shows me as a non-managerial employee is that you don't listen. Because if I'm saying this thing to you, I'm saying it for a reason. I'm saying it because of how it impacts the workflow, the productivity overall. And by you telling me that you're not even doing anything without at least trying it out or better understand, or helping me to better understand why you will not do it, besides that's going to cause us to print a lot more paper. Okay. Instead of you trying to help me better understand that, you're just kind of like, no, we're not doing that. So that lets me know that you're not a leader that listens. So when you have these team meetings and when you have all these people together, at least show them that you are listening. I don't know. They're just my little tips. So overall, to have a more productive team or staff meeting, the first tip is this: do a pre-meeting assessment with the different job roles to better understand the concerns of the different departments. Number 2, make sure that you are leaving that team meeting and the team members that attend with something of value, and clearly state what the value is so that they can better resonate with that information, with that value. The third thing that you should do is don't say anything that will have you reported to HR. Keep it clean, keep it cute, okay? And the fourth bonus tip is be a leader that listens. All right. So, but that is it for me, y'all. Thank you all for listening and watching Happy Hour HR. And I will see you all next time. Bye.